Okay, so this is what preparing Oak Meadow's pre-K materials actually looks like. I feel like most of the videos that I've seen were a flip through of the book or just an unboxing and a first impressions of the book, and I was having trouble finding like actual what is this like to use videos. So this is part one of, I assume, hopefully will become a series as I start implementing this program. Anyway, yeah, so a lot of people flip through the book and it's absolutely beautiful, but then nobody mentions that you are potentially going to be sitting here cutting tiny felt animals for hours, which is what I'm doing. So Oak Meadow Pre-K is very play-based. It is not academic at all, and that is exactly what I was looking for. It is built around things like observation, imitation, imaginative play, and storytelling. There's no worksheets, there's no sit-down lessons. It's not like a sit-down, learn to write your name, learn to write the alphabet, learn the letters. It's more like you're creating an environment and experiences for your child, which sounds very dreamy, and then you get to this part. So these little felt pieces that I am cutting out are for their felt board stories. Basically, instead of just reading a story out loud, you are telling it visually. You're moving the characters around, acting it out, and kind of bringing the story to life. And then eventually the kids love to help act out the story with you. I know this because I have done lots of other sort of like Waldorf storytelling with little figures and little peg people and felt dolls and things like that. And my kids absolutely love it when we bring the story to life. So this is just sort of another way to do that. So the stories are actually the core of the Oak Meadow program. Each month is anchored around stories, and then everything else branches off from that. All of the activities, the play, the conversations, the lessons that you have, everything kind of ties back to this one main story that you sort of repeat. So every story has its own set of pieces, and which is why this gigantic pile of felt exists now. So the way that they structure it is actually pretty interesting. Each season is broken down into 4 months. So each season has an overall theme. Each month gets its own individual main story. And then 1 month out of every season is free choice, which it kind of annoys me, honestly, because if I wanted free choice, I wouldn't have bought a curriculum. But it is what it is. The book is already huge, so I see maybe they were trying to save space. And they're also really big on rhythm, having a nice flow to your month, your week, your day, and having it be predictable for your child. So instead of a strict schedule, it's more like patterns. You might have a weekly rhythm that's like painting on one day, baking on another, nature crafts on another day. And then you have a daily rhythm that flows between activities and calm things like play, outside time, stories, quiet activities. Waldorf views this as in-breaths and out-breaths, and you want to balance your in-breaths and your out-breaths. So this is less like lesson plans and more like a structured flow to your day. One thing that really stood out to me is that they emphasize repetition a lot. Like, you do not just read a story once and move on. You might read the same story every day for a week or even longer, or a few times a week for a month. From experience, little kids love this. They love when they know what's coming. The idea is that the kids will absorb things more deeply this way. And so these felt pieces, you're not just making them once, you're using them over and over again, which makes this feel a little more intentional, but also means prep actually matters. This is not an open and go curriculum. You are expected to choose the activities, you're expected to prepare the materials, adapt things to your family, schedule it all together, figure it all out. So these little felt pieces are part of it, but it's not the whole picture. I think if you go into this thinking that it's plug and play, you're going to be very confused and annoyed very quickly. The program does also come with a couple more books. There are other videos who do great thorough flip throughs, and I think I will link to them in my description box down below, just because it's been done and I don't think I need to really repeat that content unless you guys want to see it directly from me. Okay, but I do want to say this because I think it's important. You do not actually have to do all of this. Yes, I am just torturing myself. So in the back of the book, they give you templates for every story, like exactly what characters you need. And the idea is you cut them out and that becomes your storytelling set, and they tell you how to make a felt board and move your pieces around on the set. But realistically, you can 100% adapt this. For example, there's a story of a farmer with a giant turnip. You don't have to cut out a farmer and a turnip and all of that felt. You can use your little wooden farmer figurine that you might have. You can can use the little plastic turnip that you got with your kitchen set. Use your little woodland toys. Act it out the same way. You can use this felt board as a default system for a few reasons, like if you don't already have the toys, or if you want everything to be consistent for the stories, or if you want something simple and repeatable. This can give you a way to do that. But if you already have materials at home, you can absolutely use what you have. You don't need to sit here and cut every single piece for every single story. That is just me being extra right now because I have the time right now to be prepping them. But 100%, if I was trying to do this along the way, like each month, I don't think I would do this. I'm just like sitting down and churning through the whole book, getting it all done, all prepped, because I have time right now. I just happen to. So you don't need to sit here and cut out every single piece for the story, but that said, I am clearly choosing to do that right now. So the philosophy behind it is really beautiful. It's about imagination over explanation, experience over instruction, letting kids kind of live into things and really absorb things, which I love. But also it does mean that the parent has a lot of behind the scenes work to do. Like the magic that your kid is experiencing is very directly tied to how much work you put in. So it's one of those programs where you're building the experience, you're not just delivering it. Okay, so full transparency, we have not started using this yet. I'm in the prep phase right now. I'm figuring it out. I'm getting materials ready, kind of understanding how it all works together. And so this is not a full review yet. This is just me saying, okay, this is what actually is involved and this is how it actually works. And I am glad that I have a few months before I need to actually start because I do want to do all of the felt pieces and it is taking me longer than I expected. Based on what I can tell so far, I think this would be amazing for someone who likes hands-on prep, who enjoys storytelling, who likes imaginative play, and who wants a slower, more intentional rhythm at home. I think this would be hard for you if you need something very structured and direct, you don't have a lot of prep time, or you want something that you can open and go, because this is not that. This is pieces that you are going to put together into your own program. I'll definitely update once we actually start using it, like how my kid responds, what actually gets used, what gets skipped. I'm looking at you, Grain Mill. I do all these early childhood programs, assume that people have grain mills. Editing Ella here, I actually just discovered that mill attachments for my stand mixer are not that much money. So for now, I'm gonna go cut probably 40 more of these.